Hello, welcome to your first set of notes for chemistry. We decided to go with safety because it's really fun. And if we get to come back and get your hands on some equipment in lab, you guys need to know how to use it safely. So you want to get out your packet and go along. Anything that I write down and any of these rules are fair game for the first test. Welcome to Safety Day. This is one of our most notoriously fun days in the Unit 1 Intro to Chemistry. So we all decided to get together and show you what to do and maybe what not to do when you come back to the chemistry classroom.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Right. Rule 1. Do not consume food, candy, or drinks in the chemistry classroom. I know that it's sometimes, especially if you have an early class, you want to bring in your coffee, but we want to make sure that we're not consuming any food in the classroom.
This chocolate tastes sour.
Acids are notoriously sour.
Oh, I should probably wash that down. Whoa, are you drinking my hydrochloric acid? Oof. Rule number 1, you should not consume any foods in the laboratory. And for the record, this is a beaker we only use for food only. I would never actually drink out of a beaker, even for a demo video.
Number 2, lab aprons and safety goggles should be worn in the proper manner unless your teacher says otherwise. So we will try not to overprotect you in class, but we want to make sure that you have the right level of protection. All right, for rule number 2, we're going to do a little demonstration here with an egg that will show you why you want to wear your safety goggles in class. So I have this beautiful drawing. I know I should have been an art major, but that is your face, and this is your eye. You might want to work on your brows a little, but that's okay. So here we go. We're going to put this here, and we're going to take an egg. And the interesting thing about an egg is that the proteins are similar to the proteins in your eye. And what we have here is you will see that there's the white portion and then there's the opaque portion that is the yolk. If you were in class and you managed to not wear your goggles and got some hydrochloric acid in your eye, let's see what would happen. We're already seeing some vapors here. Oh no, that's not good. As you can see, we are actually cooking this egg with chemicals. You can actually denature the proteins with thermal energy by cooking it on the stove, but you can also do the same with chemicals, and you can change the chemical makeup. Now, obviously, you would not be getting this much in your eye, but you can see even a small drop of this on your eye would create long-lasting effects if you were to turn the white of your eye opaque. Number 3, long hair should be tied back. We're going to define long hair in this class as if you lean forward and your hair falls forward. So if I ask you what is the definition of long hair, you will say if you lean forward and it falls forward, then you need to tie it back.
Rule number 3, if you lean forward and it falls forward, you have long hair.
Number 4, if there is a fire in the chemistry classroom, the first thing you want to do is smother it while alerting the teacher. It's very important that you tell the teacher. Rule number 4 talks about what to do if there is a fire in the chemistry classroom. Dr. Yates, what would you do if there was a fire in the classroom?
Oh man, I'd get out my phone and I'd make a video and I'd post it on TikTok.
Mr. Pilcher, what would you do?
Yeah, I'd panic and email my mom.
What you should do is you should call the teacher, and I'll grab a fire extinguisher and put out the flame. Rule 5. There are opportunities to get burns in any chemistry classroom. So first of all, when you think of a burn, how do you think you would define a burn? It's actually kind of challenging. In class, we are going to define a burn as cell death. Anything that kills cells is considered a burn. In a chemistry classroom, there are 2 types of burns that you can get. One is a thermal burn. So if you burn yourself on a Bunsen burner or a hot piece of glassware. There's also chemical burns if you come in contact with an acid or a base or anything else that can be an irritant. The remedy for both of these happens to be you want to flush lots and lots of cold water over the burn. Ouch!
Ooh, looks like you got a burn there.
What's a burn?
Cell death.
But because I burnt myself on something hot, is this a thermal burn?
You betcha.
What should I do?
You need to rinse with cold water vigorously.
Number 6, accidental contact with acids might not immediately be noticeable. They'll probably show up between 1 to 3 hours later. And what you're going to notice for a symptom is a red and itchy spot on your skin. And just like at the thermal burn, the remedy for that is lots and lots of cold water.
Ooh, jeez. Mr. Pilcher, ever since chemistry class this morning, my arm's been itching like crazy.
Huh. Red and itchy, that's a sign of a burn.
A burn? I thought you had to have heat, like from a Bunsen burner to get a burn.
Well, Billy, there are 2 types of burn, thermal and chemical.
Oh, no. Well, what should I do?
You need to wash with cold water, Billy.
For rule number 7, you need to know the location of these different items.
Right beneath our safety shower is our eye wash station. If you ever get anything in your eyes, we need to run you over here, and we're going to have to run water on your eyes for 20 minutes. Oh, yeah. Oh. Woo. I feel safe. This is the safety shower. If you get chemicals spilled on you, we're going to need to run you over here and get those chemicals rinsed off of you. It is fast.
This is the classroom fire extinguisher. They're usually towards the front of the room. Your teacher is the only person who will ever need to use this.
This is the classroom fume hood. There will be a few times this year where we will be generating gases that should not be breathed, for instance, chlorine. And what we'll do is we will do the experiment inside of this fume hood, and we will close the door and we will turn the fan on. Now, any gases that are generated inside of here will be pumped out and out the roof of the building. The other thing we have is called the classroom ventilation system. When you flip that fan on, there is a vent in our classroom, and the air will be replaced within the entire classroom in 6 minutes. Number 8, perform only those experiments that have been authorized by your teacher. We have a limited amount of chemicals. There's also something called limiting and excess stoichiometry that we know and understand. And then if you double the chemicals, you probably are just going to waste them, and we might run out by the end of the day. If you have any questions on changing a lab, please feel free to let us know, and maybe it's something that's doable.
It's cool if I double this, right, Miss Bay?
No.
What? Rule number 8. Never do any unauthorized experiments in the laboratory.
Rule number 9, don't sit on the counters. You shouldn't be sitting on the counters in any class, in any chemistry classroom, because you don't know what was there before.
Mr. Pilcher, what are you doing sitting on the desk?
Breaking rule number 9.
Number 10, dispose of all laboratory waste properly. If you do break glassware, the first thing you want to do is tell the teacher. It's very important. It needs to be disposed of in a special container for the safety of others. We don't want other people reaching into the trash can, custodians, if somebody drops something in the trash can and tries to reach in. We don't want to have glassware just sitting in the trash can. So you want to make sure that you know that you put broken glassware in a special container. You will alert the teacher. I will clean it up. You should not be cleaning up any glassware. And we're going to make sure it's in a safe place for the safety of others. Solids usually can go in the trash can, and liquids can usually go in the sink unless told otherwise. Some chemicals can't go down our sink without causing issues to the plumbing, and some solids should not go in the trash. So trash and sink unless told otherwise.
Oh, Billy!
Oh no!
Miss Bay is going to kill us.
No, don't!
Never put broken glassware in the trash. Put the broken glassware in the broken glassware bucket and allow your teacher to clean it up. Dr. Yates, I'm done with this experiment. Can I put this solid in the trash can?
That solid you can put in the trash can. Normally solids go into a trash can unless your teacher tells you otherwise.
How about these liquids? Can these both go down the sink?
No. This one can go down the sink. The other one we need to dispose of in our fume hood. Very good, Jane.
Rule 11. Read the labels of the chemicals used in an experiment. Sometimes we'll have out multiple chemicals during a lab, and you want to make sure you're using the right chemicals in the right order. Either you're not going to get a reaction or you're going to get a reaction that you weren't planning for. Rule number 11 talks about being careful when you're reading labels in the chemistry classroom. Both of these bottles look very similar, and they both hold flammable chemicals. The chemical that I used in the demonstration when I lit my desk on fire before was ethyl alcohol. This has a flammability rating of 3. It looks very similar to this bottle, which is petroleum ether, and it has a flammability rating of 4. Let's see what happens if I had not read the labels and I used petroleum ether instead of the ethyl alcohol. Now, you're supposed to use about 10 milliliter. You're supposed to use about 20 milliliters for this demonstration. I'm going to take the extra flammable liquids far away. And I'm going to go through the same process, and I'm going to take the petroleum ether and I'm going to put it onto my demonstration table. Now there's only one small difference. I'm not going to stand here and light this. I'm going to take a match and I'm going to throw it from a very safe distance away to light this particular chemical on fire. That would have been a completely different story if I had tried to stand here and light this. Read labels. Rule number 12, keep hands away from face, eyes, mouth, and body. In the times of COVID, this is probably something you're doing anyways, but you just want to be cognizant that you could possibly have chemicals on your hands, and you want to always wash your hands at the end of lab.
Whew. Rule number 12. Keep your hands away from your face, eyes, mouth, and body.
And your lab partner's body.
13. Notify your teacher in case of a glassware breakage or faulty equipment. You should always immediately tell me if something is wrong. If you break anything.
Hey, did you hear a leak?
I don't know, but I don't think this beaker works.
Whoa!
Hey, Mr. Pilcher!
Yes, what's the matter? I think this hose is not working right. I can hear a leak.
My beaker's broken.
Well, as you know, Rule 13 says, always report faulty equipment to your teacher.
Rule 14. Stools are not permitted in the chemistry prep room without permission. There will be some labs in which you can go in the back because that's where our balances are locked up. But normally that's where we're prepping things, and we have a whole bunch of junk back there, and you should just stay out. (15) Contact lenses can be worn, but students must understand the risk of doing so. So you can wear them, but just make sure you know the risks. For rule number 15, we're going to talk about some of the risks in wearing contacts in the lab. You're more than welcome to wear them, but you should know kind of what you're getting into when you do. I have a beaker of water here, and I also have a contact and an eye. Your eye has moisture on it, so we're going to go ahead and put some moisture on there. And then we're going to apply a contact. Now, I don't have glasses and I don't wear contacts, so I don't know how to apply these things. But if you have glasses, it's probably something like that. Good. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use this red food coloring to simulate if a little bit of chemical got on the side of your contact. And as you can see, even if I put it from this edge right here, what is slowly happening is capillary action is going to take it while it was just on the edge. It's going to pull it all the way across your eye. And then, you rub your eye and you itch it. And then, oh no. And now your contact is not protecting your eye at all. It's actually keeping the chemicals to your eye longer. So if you start to have itchy eyes in class and you wear contacts, we need to make sure we get those out. It says report all accidents to the teacher. Accidents do happen, and that doesn't mean that you did something wrong. So if you break something or if you hurt yourself, I need to know so that I can immediately start to minimize any harm that's going to happen. So you're not going to get in trouble unless you're like breaking beakers on purpose. But if there is an accident in the lab, you need to let your instructor know. 17, smelling chemicals can be very bad, so you need to know how to waft. The steps that you need to know how to waft are step number 1, hold whatever you're smelling 12 inches away from your face. Step number 2, close your eyes. And I used to think that it was closing your eyes because you would heighten your other senses by closing your eyes. And it's just so you don't like put chemicals into your eyes when they're open. So close your eyes. And step 3, you need to waft, which is when you're waving the chemicals to your face and gently breathing in. You're not going to stick your nose down into a beaker in this class. Rules for wafting. Rule 1, 12 inches away.
Rule 2, close your eyes.
Rule 3, waft.
Oh, that's a wonderful aroma.
Eau de pasture.
Number 18, never leave the lip Bunsen burner unattended. And you always want to shut off at the main valve.
Hey, Johnny, will you mind watching the flame while I go get the rest of our chemicals? Yeah, no problem. I got it.
Cool.
Thanks. Oh, is this Stacy? Oh, yeah, I got time to talk.
Where did everyone go?
What's that, Stacy? Rule number 18, never, ever leave a Bunsen burner unattended while it is lit.
Number 19, do not point the open test tube at open end at anybody, including yourself or others. If you're heating something, it can rapidly change in volume and it would then maybe be ejected from the end, and you don't necessarily want to do that to your lab partner. Hey, Dr. Yates.
Yes, Ms. Bay.
Remember when you walked through my video in the back?
Whoa. Rule number 19, don't ever point the open end of a test tube at yourself or someone else.
20, it's kind of funny that we have to say it, but it's true. Hot and cold glassware have the same visual appearance. So if you have a partner who takes a piece of glassware off of the standard apparatus and you didn't know that it was hot, just be careful. You should treat everything as being hot in the lab on days where we use the Bunsen burner. 21, do not try to cool very hot glassware by running cool water over it. It will do what's called heat shock and it will shatter. Hey, Mr. Pilcher, can you grab this glass?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Oh! Rule 20, hot and cold glass look the same.
I guess I can just cool it down over here then.
Wait a minute, Ms. Bay. Don't put that hot beaker in cold water.
Rule 21, do not cool down a hot piece of glassware with cold water. It will shock and shatter.
22, clean your area after your group has finished an activity. We do have 5 classes, and so you need to make sure that you clean your area as well as it was when you walked in. Go. And 23, kind of just got to throw it out there. We're not going to be roughhousing or playing or anything like that in lab. Labs are serious and some of them can be quite dangerous. So just make sure that you are, not running things like that. If you were to start roughhousing around or anything like that, we would retain the right to give you a 0 and ask you to sit down and quit participating. We had a lot of fun making these videos for you and playing around with all the stuff. We just want to let you guys know that rule number 23 would ask that you don't do those types of things in the lab. We know what we're doing. We did them safely, making sure that everybody was not going to get injured or had their safety equipment on. So just want to make sure that we were being safe and never play around like we did. We just did it for fun.
Also, I think a chip fell out of my mouth during that video, so that's going to be great.
like,
Rule number 3. If it leans...
if it leans. Rule number 11. Is that where we're at?
Make sure you always wear your goggles. It's going to be you. It's going to be you.
Get up there. Sit up there, sir.
What are we doing now? Oh,
Sit on the counter.
this is my favorite one. Mr. Pilcher, what are you doing sitting on the
Wait, I started again. I wasn't ready.
Good outtake on that one.
Yeah,
All
right.
Huh? What? What rule is it? I don't remember.
12. Rule number 12. Don't forget the rule.
Oh, we weren't recording! Oh, no!
Okay, that's okay. We know exactly what we're going to say. It's all good.
Oh, please be rule 13. That was rule 13, right?
Yes.
I was like, for a second, I didn't know the number. I was like, I think it's 13. Please.
Hey, Mr. Pilcher, will you hold this glass for me?
Sure, it doesn't really look any different than cold glass. Ow! Rule number 20.
Which one? Don't pour the actual 3 molar on yourself. Let's make sure that we...
I'm going to light a match and throw it from far away because petroleum ether is a little crazier than methyl alcohol. So if you mix up your labels, the match didn't take it. This happens to me every year.
I'm going to really slam that hard.
Oh, you need to.
Whew. I feel safe.
That was great with the water slide.
Oh, that is unpleasant, man.